incidents, but I didn't see a cohesive message from the defense. They only called 3 witnesses. So I didn't see
throughout the whole trial.
I did.
Throughout the whole trial, even with the teenagers that testified for the prosecutor, what were the main 2 things that the defense kept asking them?
about the poker and about would they have ever brought one, and did they think he was justified in what he did?
No, that's not the main 2 things they asked him, Stizzy.
All right, I wasn't watching them, bro. You got to ask
the main
somebody.
2 things they asked him was Carmelo's size versus Austin's size in positional advantage. Where was Carmelo doing? Was he sitting or standing? It was clear. The defense clearly played off a disparity of force doctrine. That's what they were driving home. Every single time they had a witness on a prosecutor that they cross-examined on the prosecutor's side, they asked who was the aggressor, what is the size advantage, and who was standing and who was sitting. These are the things that you need to prove disparity. They asked, if you go back and you look at all of the text messages from J.D. Miles or anybody that covered the case, every single witness was asked the same thing. How big was Austin and Hunter versus Carmelo, and were they standing and was Carmelo sitting? They clearly played off a disparity of force, while the prosecution played so towards proportionality. What do you think this is? Self-defense or smurder? All of the teenagers were saying smurder. Who's at fault? Who provoked? Carmelo. When the defense said, "Are these your words or my words?" Giving them to you, they said they're my words. Most of those kids were saying Carmelo provoked them. So the defense did what? He reiterated, was Austin and Hunter intimidating? Yes. Did Hunter like being disrespected? No, he did not. Did Hunter back up Austin? Yes, he did. Well, how big was Austin? Austin was substantially much bigger. When you had that kid say, us big kids were the ones that told him he had to leave, that was purposely orchestrated by the defense. He asked that question to that kid, and what did he say? Us big kids approached him first. When they said, who the first person to say something to Carmelo? Hunter Metcalf. How big is Hunter? Very intimidating. What is he like? He does not like to be disrespected. This is all disparity of force when a person with a weapon allegedly unalive somebody that doesn't have a weapon. Why did they do it? Because he was sitting down and a big kid approached him with other kids and they assaulted him. If y'all don't see that, I don't know what y'all was looking at.
Yo, Chuck, I can tell you this. I'll put it to you like this, bro. I'll put it to you like this, little bro, or big bro. I think you're a lot older than me, so I'll call you big bro. I'll put it to you like this.
Shit, here you go with the age.
No,
you get on my nerves.
Yo, if it is, look, anybody tell you if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I tell you, I'm straight up, I'm wrong. I may be a little skewed because I've been here my whole life. I've been here my whole life, and my perception of shit can be a little skewed. So you may be right in a long term. You may be right, and I hope you are, bro. I hope I can come in here this afternoon and these motherfuckers been acquitted this motherfucker of all charges and say, damn, Chuck, you was right. Hell, I may send you a galaxy. Hell, I may send you 2 galaxies. I don't know.
Well, damn, I hope some people send me some galaxies. Because I said what I said, and I think that another big part of it, I think the defense did. I think they did a great job by letting the kids just lie, because it just created reasonable doubt. Every single one of their witnesses that were kids, they caught in a lie. That creates reasonable doubt. You cannot say from any of their answers definitively anything. You cannot answer not one important question here definitively off of their information, because it was all different. Who really was the aggressor? All of their answers were different. Body positioning, everything was different. But I think one of the hugest thing was towards the end, when they asked that kid, after the prosecution told him that his mind was playing tricks on him, and the defense recrossed and said, how would you feel if you found out the timestamps didn't match? Something else happened in court too that Shaniqua brought up last night about the video. Now we know that they showed the video that they showed in court was the large frame video, and it was blurry. But ain't nobody talking about the fact that when they sat in court yesterday, the video that they showed only part, because they only showed a small clip of the video that the people in the courtroom saw yesterday. Guess what? The video wasn't grainy no more. When they had that kid and was like, is this you? When they zoomed in, it was a different shot. And that video was absolutely clear, i.e. the video that we saw. Even Shaniqua talked about, the lines were on the bottom to show you that you're pulling from here, like when you're editing video. She goes, we literally could see that across the bottom of this incredibly clear screen, which we describe, and you can see from the editing lines on the bottom of the time frame that they were pulling this clip out of it. So there's more videos.
Who transferring?
So I think that was one of the most powerful things. And when the defense said, now how would you feel if you found out that these timestamps didn't match? That let everybody in the courtroom know we had some shit to prove that the way they showing y'all this video, it's not accurate. And then they brought these kids in right before, because they said your pre-trial interview. So you brought these kids back in before the trial and showed them some video that's been spliced to tell them, see what you told us, it's not here on this video anymore. Now they didn't say anymore, but now it ain't there. So your mind was playing tricks on you. That is huge. And I think that's one of the reasons things came to a halt yesterday. If the video is split, you must acquit.
All I'm telling you, D1, just like I've been telling you and Stizzy and everybody since the beginning of time, right, is you have to have faith in the justice system, because that's the only thing that's going to play in Carmelo's favor. I've said that every time I come on this panel. You've heard me say it time and time again. You cannot sit there and say you don't have faith in the justice system and automatically assume. You gotta keep the faith. There was some parts of the trial that looked terrible for Carmelo, but then it got cleaned up. But you gotta keep the faith, because none of y'all expected Mr. Child to get found not guilty.
I did. I 100% did, and I told everybody that anyway. The minute they took that shit to court, I knew he was getting off. You want to know why? Because he was a black kid and legally.
Nah, see, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about legally, bro. Nobody would think somebody that pew somebody in the back would get found not guilty, bro, until he did. Right? So you got to keep the faith.
How often that happens
That's
for us, though, bro?
Like, but we're not talking. Listen, bro, we're not talking. I get it. We're not talking, but still got to keep the faith. Because if something bad happens and something was to go the wrong way, guess what? Now you got to have faith in the appeal process, which is the system still. So you got to keep the faith either way it go, man. You have to. You can't let nothing deter you that bad to where you say, you know what, that's it, he cooked. Because he's not. We won't know until the actual verdict comes in. And until that verdict comes in, you got to keep the faith, man. A lot of y'all discouraged as fuck, walking around here depressed and shit. No, for what?
Can I point out one other thing that they never showed the entire trial in the video, which was missing? In the video, there is the moment where the explosion happens, the moment of the poking. You can't physically see it because their backs were turned. But of all the video that was shown, that moment wasn't in there. And in the video that we were shown, there was never a moment where the kids were sitting down. Y'all know I've been saying this for a year. If that really happened, and I'm sure there was a time they were all sitting under there, that's not in the video. But the video footage that they were shown in court was only about 10 minutes long. For almost 10 minutes in the video that we saw, there was nothing going on. Carmelo Anthony didn't walk in. Those kids weren't there sitting. And that's for 9 minutes and 53 seconds. How do you play a video in the courtroom that's only about 10 minutes long? And now within that 10 minutes, you got kids walking in, you got kids sitting down. How all of a sudden that's in footage within 10 minutes, when the footage we saw for almost 10 minutes, Carmelo Anthony was sitting there just chilling. So you have taken some stuff out and meshed this together. So now it all looks like one continuous sequence within 10 minutes, but we know it wasn't. And nowhere in court did you hear them talk about, and see in that footage, that is when the poking happens and then this running happens. They never talk about Austin staggering down the stairs. They don't show that in the video. But we all know by the movement of the canopy that his body was all the way down at the bottom when they start working on him. But somehow that wasn't in the video where he was staggering down and drops to the bottom. The seconds right before he staggered down, that wasn't shown in the courtroom either. But now this video has kids sitting. So some of the important stuff towards the end, it's not in the video. But there's now stuff at the beginning of the video that wasn't never there. And the video is only 10 minutes. So you've manipulated the video. And the defense teased that.
Well, let me ask you this, Nino. You think Carmelo was sitting down when this happened?
Carmelo was sitting down when it happened.
So
and that was the consensus. Hold on. But that was the consensus across the board with all of the kids, that Carmelo was sitting down.
When he was attacked, he was sitting down.
And that's from the prosecution. The defense ain't even have to drive that home. Just letting the prosecution's kids run their mouth. The consensus was he was sitting. He was sitting. And if this about the poking, why you ain't show that moment? Because that's in the video when the poking happened. When Austin walks down and staggers down, none of that's shown. But now in the video, kids are sitting. Carmelo Anthony has walked in. You spliced this and you manipulated the timestamps to lead these kids to think that this is the sequence of this happening, and didn't say, but we took this out. That 9 minutes, 53 seconds where he was sitting there alone, we took that out and we replaced that with the time that he walked into the canopy. We replaced that with the time all of the kids were sitting underneath the canopy.
Yeah, a lot of it.
We didn't show you the 30 seconds that Hunter talked about. We didn't show you the 30 seconds that the people that saw all of a sudden it was gone.
Here's my biggest problem. Yeah. Here's my biggest problem with the Carmelo sit thing. When they did the reenactment wasn't him sitting down. The reenactment was both of them standing up. So you had to drive that home to show them that he was sitting down, because somebody came up there and disputed that. But the reenactment was them sitting down. Him sitting down. The other guy, no, it wasn't. It wasn't him. Wasn't sitting down when they did it, because she said, I wanted to see the reenactment with him sitting down. So then the next thing was the other guy.
What about the one who showed that he lifted him up? The one that said swing. The one that said he swung. Hold on. One of those guys said that he had a swinging motion, right? He also said that Carmelo was standing up. So there's conflicting stories. So this is why you have to drive it home that he was sitting down. That's why you have to show the medical because the one kid that said that it was a drill, that showed the example that it was a drill. Carmelo Anthony was sitting in that reenactment because he showed that he lifted Carmelo Anthony up.
Right. A linebacker drill.
The linebacker drill, yes. They did have him sitting in those reenactments.
But not on all of them, because one of them.
Because remember, they used a chair. They literally used a chair.
Y'all have to talk one at a time. Allow other people to land.
Okay, just ask Nick that, because I'm not going to do a lot of arguing about it. She was in there, and I remember her distinctly coming out and said, I wanted to see a reenactment of them sitting down, because she also said that one of those guys said that he had a swinging motion or poking motion. I don't know which one that was, but he had a poking motion when the guy hit him. He said he was from like 8 feet away or something like that. He said it was his friend, and he said, I was trying to get over there to find out what was going on. And he said that the guy swung, and he said that Carmelo came back with a poke. He said that Carmelo was standing.
But that was that was the guy who they told him that his mind was playing tricks on him. And that they showed him a video to make him think his mind was playing tricks on him. That was that kid.
So what D1 is saying is what Nick came and said. She wished that someone would do it right because no one did the reenactment sitting down. And if Mello was sitting down, how was everybody doing the reenactment while standing up? I think that's what he's speaking to.
But
my response to that was all the reenactments was not him standing.
Hold on, Cree talk. But they pointed that out. Either the prosecution or the defense pointed that out. Well, wasn't he sitting down? So how can you sit there and reenact something if he was sitting down and you stood up when you reenacted it? They said that in the court, y'all. It's in the records.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it has been clarified that he was sitting.
Right.
Yeah, then the other guy, then one of the guys say Carmelo entered the canopy and he'd been sitting down for about 5 minutes. I think that was Chris Creed.
4.5
Chris said
minutes. Yeah, 4.5 minutes, he said.
And then it had no problem with nobody. Nobody said nothing to nobody until Austin and Hunter came to
Eddie
the
up,
canopy.
he was sitting there chilling, going through his phone. They said he was going through his phone or something. And then Chris was going through his phone and shit when he sat down. Looking at social media.
Yeah. But I'm agree. Now D1, you know I'm from the South too. I agree with you, bro. 100% I do. Don't think I don't. I done seen a lot of my homeboys get railroaded with all 12. I'm telling you, I know it. But in this case right here, though, I do not see the prosecutor proving the burden of proof. Usually when we was going through our trouble,
with your home?
I can't stop. Yeah, but it wasn't on a murder charge, right? They had already priors, right? They had like 3 strikes when the 3 strikes was going on. You know what I'm saying? That it was automatic. You gonna get a sentence automatic. You know what I'm saying? Then you had it on you too. Now we got to say that too. So, and then they had all white juries. Some of them came home off the all white jury when they went to appeal court, and they got it overturned or gave some of that time back. You know what I'm saying? But what they got caught with, they actually got caught with. Now we got to put that there now. Okay.
But they wasn't railroaded then. They was guilty.
I don't know. I think Mr. Child, like, I don't know why I keep bringing that up today. Like, it's a bad time to talk about this. I just think Mr. Child got off legally. Using the law, man.
I was saying, Cree. That's all I was saying. Like you, when you talk about things and you talk about it from a morality standpoint or emotional standpoint, you're not going to see what the law says. The law says what is, not emotions or morality. So if legally there wasn't a beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's all that matters. None of that other shit matters. And when you look at the history of Texas, I'm just going to say this. When you look at the history of Texas, when it comes to these children in these certain circumstances, none of these children legally have ever been found guilty legally for what Carmelo's charged for. That's why you have to have faith, because some of them blatantly did what they were accused of doing and still legally didn't get found guilty of what they were charged with. So you got to, sometimes it's called history repeating itself.
Didn't Casey Allison get found guilty?
He got found guilty of criminal negligence.
Okay, that's just as bad. I don't want this kid to go to prison at all. At all. I don't care if it's for criminal negligence, manslaughter, any of that. I don't want him in prison because he don't belong there. Because we know if this had been a little white boy with 2 big black dudes, this wouldn't even went to fucking court in Texas.
But the thing is, D1, you really got to look at. Hold on, trucker. Hold on, real quick. But D1, you really got to look at this, right? If we go to court, right, and you see all these kids lying, right, you don't think they lied to the prosecutor too, before they can get this case? You don't think that? You know what I'm saying? So it's built, this whole case
No, I
is built on lies. I'm gonna leave it there. The whole case is built on lies. So if
I think
somebody go
some
in,
lied.
hold on, Nino. So if somebody go in, just like me and you out there, we doing something and somebody report, and we know we did the right thing to do, but they come and say, no, I seen something different. This is what I seen. This is what he seen. This is what he seen. This is what, when it became he say, she say, right? But when you really look at it in our eyes, we know we did the right thing. But if they go lying and then the prosecutor is changing the videos and doing this here, this is what you seen. What the hell? You see what I'm saying?
Louisiana, you got to change your little slogan, man. Because when you say I'm going to leave that there, I'll be thinking you're done too. And that's why Nino will keep cutting you off. Like, I don't know.
It's a thing.
As soon as you say I'm gonna leave that there, I'm like, all right, he's done. And then you go even more. Like, I don't know.
My bad. When I say leave it there, I mean I'm putting that in place.
Go ahead, Nino.
Go ahead, Nino. Go ahead. No, you good.
Prosecution. They were shown manipulated video when they said, this is what I saw. The prosecution brought them in and said, this is not what you saw. Your mind is playing tricks on you. Look here. And I think and I feel like, I'm going to be honest with you. I felt like they ran that courtroom. The prosecution did whatever they did to get the indictment, which you ain't got to give all the clear information to get the indictment. And they pulled that shit in the courtroom, and the defense let them, because you can hear the inconsistencies by not just jumping in. I think it's good that you didn't jump in and object everything. No, let these kids get it off. Let them get all their lies out, because it shows the inconsistency. And then when you are using one of these kids that you manipulated, now you show a clip, because they even said, they kept asking this kid that they were saying, your mind is playing tricks on you. Want us to show you the video again? And the kid didn't want it. And then they showed a little clip. And now this video is clear, and it ain't the shit that you showed earlier in opening. Now, all of a sudden, the video that we've been talking about that was clear, now, all of a sudden, in the end, a little clip of it when you trying to tell this kid his mind's playing tricks on him. Now this clear video appears, but you ain't playing the whole thing. You can now zoom in for clarity to say, see you on the field right there. Isn't that you? And let me tell you, I don't know if that kid's parent was an attorney, but he said his dad made him testify to do the right thing. And that kid was prepped well. He did not let the prosecution manipulate him, drag him, and make him say some shit he did not want to say. Shaniqua, Knick-Knack, everyone said that he was the most mature, best witness that sat down there the entire time of the trial. And he did not let the prosecution punk him. He stood 10 toes down.
They said that he was more solid than the damn adults that was up there.
Right.
Let me ask everybody something. Do any of y'all feel like that this should have went to trial?
No, it shouldn't have.
No, I don't think anybody feels
Do we feel like it should have went to trial? You said Nino hit it on the head, bro. Nino hit it on the head. They did the same thing in trial. They did it in the grand jury. The thing about the grand jury, the defense wasn't there to do anything.
I understand, but this is what I'm saying. We all know this shouldn't have went to trial. Now you want me to trust you when we know this shit shouldn't have never went to trial? Now I need to trust the justice system when we know this shit shouldn't have went to trial?
Man, a lot of people can get indicted.
Why would I trust the system as never worked for us ever?
There's different levels, bro. There's different levels, bro. There's different levels, though.
Thank you, breaking up, Creed.
Faith in the justice system no more. I don't watch these motherfuckers being able to murder a 12-year-old baby and walk away. I watched a 7-year-old baby sleeping in her fucking bed and gets pew-pewed in her head by the fucking cop, and they found a way to say he was fearing for his life. So no, I don't trust this fucking justice system at all.
I think that this would have went national, and the prosecutors thought that they would be able to say whatever the hell they wanted to say and lock them up and leave it at that. That's just my opinion, though.
Also, Key, I really think that this whole year, everyone thinks that they stopped letting people see that video because of Adrian. It had nothing to do with Adrian. They let people stop seeing that video because that is not what the hell they were using in the courtroom, and they were going to manipulate it, and they did not want the public to continue to see the unedited real footage that they had no intention on showing in the courtroom. That's why they shut that video down. When you got the whole public going, wait a minute, that's not what we saw. It was only 39 of us. Imagine if they had never shut it down over the course of a year, how many people would have saw the real footage. They had to shut that down. As part of the prosecution needed that shut down. They didn't expect this to be that big. They ain't necessarily expect TikTok to run with it and share information and have people even getting on airplanes to go see this video. When also we discovered during the trial, the video footage that they showed the news was different from the video footage that we saw filling out the FOIA request. So now we know when the media was saying it was grainy and we're like, oh, they're lying. They weren't lying. They strategically showed them a grainy footage and then did it again in the courtroom. But then at the very end, once it was the defense term, when they were trying to trip up this kid who was being clearer than anyone else, then they showed a clip of the footage and now it wasn't grainy no more.
Jump in on you, Nino. I've been listening since you brought that up. I know I'm about in as deep as the way I know you're saying it once I hear it. But what really just stood out to me when I keep hearing that word grainy, and I'm over here saying to myself, damn, am I the only one that thinks that's a hell of a coincidence that the ops were using the language of the video, claiming that when you and everyone else was saying what y'all saw, that y'all were lying because it was a grainy and unclear video, as if they had some inside information and already knew what would show up in trial, what would be shown to witnesses. Like you just said, what was shown in the courtroom, what was shown for witnesses was a grainy video. Yet all of you who went, whether you were an op or not, that actually said what you saw, you didn't say grainy. You didn't say I couldn't see anything the way that we are now understanding the video to look like for most. So I just find it a hell of a coincidence that over a year ago, people were referring to this in argument as a bad view of a video that no one could see when rebutting you or anyone else. And it just so happened that they were right. What was going to be shown in court really was a grainy video.
That's what was shown in
how
opening.
Did they know that?
But yesterday, there was, Shaniqua said it, they played a small clip again, trying to trip this kid up. And now all of a sudden, with the video they're using to trip him up, this small clip was not grainy. And Shaniqua said, on the bottom of the screen, you can tell, because you know, like when you go make a TikTok video and the edit, you know, the lines that you can go and start the video here and pull this part out. She said that was on the bottom of the screen. So everyone in the courtroom could see that they were pulling this one part out of a whole video that was there in its entirety, and it was clear. And that was not the video shown in the opening. That was the video that we saw. And they just gotta say this.
If that's what you could see at the bottom, and the fact that you have, and I'm again gonna say I like the fact that this jury has the diversity it has, based on religion, as well as now based on intellect and education. If anybody knows some clipped technical videography craft, one of them Indians and one of them Asians sure the hell know what they looking at when they see it. So we wasn't pulling a fast one on them.
process. Shaniqua said that was powerful, seeing that on the screen, those lines on the bottom, which let you know there was something before it and something after it. And you can see that you just pulled this one little part because that's where the lines are highlighted in the middle of a whole reel. That's now clear, which had to be powerful for the jury. In the opening, we couldn't see nothing. It was grainy. Now, right now, there's a whole 4K video that's clear all of a sudden. And then the defense teases, now what if you found out that these timestamps have been manipulated? These timestamps don't match. They didn't come back after lunch after that either, did they?
After that incident. And that's important to note because we don't want it to look like that was the incident that
No,
closed
but
the
I'm not
courtroom
saying
down.
that shut it down. I know that 2 witnesses will call, but the fact that you teased it and said, what if you found out? Let us know at some point, because they were already scheduled to go up next. So at some point after this, we're about to prove that the state manipulated evidence. So it don't matter who was last, it was said.
Question was going to be in regard to
If we bring that to their attention, we have to let it be known that Nick said she heard from a reliable source that they will be closing soon. So that was already in place.
Yeah, and I want to say this right here, though, right? Like, I don't like to let it go on. You know what I'm saying? I raise the bar right then when it's happening. I wouldn't let it, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of this stuff they let go and then they try to raise the bar at the end or raise the bar somewhere else. I would have raised the bar right then when it's said and when it happened. That's what, you know what I'm saying? I would have did.
I got a question, I'm sorry, Nina. In regard to how clear you say that clip or that portion of the video was when convincing the witness that he didn't see what he thought he saw in that moment. Could it have been clearer because that view of him on the stadium grounds was closer in the camera shot than the view up the bleacher to the canopy? Could that have been the reason that particular view was clearer than the canopy view? I'm asking.
So they could very much be showing us, they could very much have shown them the video of him on the field at a different time of the poking, like not at the same time of the poking.
Absolutely, that's what the defense said. These timestamps don't match.
Okay,
so they're trying to convince you this is what you were doing during this time, but the timestamp says that time ain't the same time as when this happened, and y'all trying to make them believe it is.
And even with them doing that with him, they could.
And it couldn't match because remember, he said he was concerned something was going on, and then at one point everyone started running. And the defense was saying that the prosecution was saying, no, they surrounded him after the poking. So you're manipulating time because we all know that happened prior to the poking. So you telling him, no, at this moment, nothing was happening and you was over here. And the footage that we saw, the explosive moment of the 30 seconds, you ain't showing none of that. But you're trying to say that this is what you were doing during that time. But miraculously, that time ain't never shown in the courtroom. So how could the time frames have matched? Because if this is what you were doing during the explosive moment, which you described, but somehow in the video, that moment ain't there.
And that's one of my biggest concerns for real, because we see Well, we heard Nick say how aggressive they were with him. Imagine how he was or how they were with the people without other people being around, when they just interrogating them in a room, or if they just getting their perspectives of what happened behind closed doors where no one else, can see them threatening the witnesses or trying to scare them, use scare tactics and stuff for them to corroborate the, I guess, what Hunter said or whatever narrative they're trying to put out. Hello? Can anybody follow me?
I'll follow you. And I get what Nina was saying. So basically, when he showed him the clip of himself standing on the field, whatever time that wasn't the same time that the actual altercation was happening. So you're trying to convince the jury, hey, look at him standing here on the field. He's not even looking up at the tent. There's no way he could have seen what happened. But the time that they're showing him on that field is not the time that the incident happened. So the prosecution is basically playing dirty than a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. And at no time in court did they ever show the video part where the incident happened. Did y'all ever hear that this whole time?
Now here's my thought, Nino. If a juror thinks like how you think, now my thought is, in the jury room, if I ask for the video and the ability to zoom in and out, are they going to refuse that of me? Can they refuse that of me? Especially after showing me they can zoom in and out in the courtroom. That was my next thought while listening to you.
Creed. Where the hell is Creed ass at?
He be working, so he probably can't really talk right now.
And do y'all remember, anybody remember at any point during the trial when they talked about the video?
Hold on, Nino.
Do you remember at any point of them talking about the actual incident? Because that's in the video. You can't physically see the hands, but the moment it happened is in the video. This whole trial, did anybody ever hear that part of the video? No. It wasn't there.
Listen up.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that.
Is what's happening outside the courthouse and in the community as well. This is a very divisive case. It's divided the community, in part along racial lines. It's had an impact because of who the victim is and who the defendant is, etc. So I want to bring back in Cody. Cody, first of all, how is the atmosphere inside the courtroom, first of all? Is there a level of tension? Would it be obvious to the jury? Is there a typical, lineup that we see sometimes in a courtroom where it's obvious one side of the courthouse is for the courtroom and is for the defendant, one side is supporting the victim, and there's some tension in there? Is any of that palpable? Does that exist in this case?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely feel it upon walking in the courtroom. Everyone's keeping it professional and everything like that, but you could cut the tension with a knife. But I'd say tension versus emotion. I would say it's definitely emotional, especially, obviously, on behalf of the Metcalf family. I'm sitting 2 rows behind the father, Jeff Metcalf, and he, every 2 or 3 minutes just kind of hangs his head in his lap, and I can see him nodding and shaking his head no as he's hearing some of these, gruesome details about what happened. I mean, he's hearing about his son being stabbed to death. And then obviously on the other side of the courtroom, I'm kind of far. I don't have, really good eyes on Anthony or his family. But, as I can take glances, they're just very serious. They're taking in all these facts they're hearing, because you got to remember, Carmelo is also a brother. He's a son. He's a nephew. He's a family member to these. He has loved ones in there as well. And, hearing these, gruesome allegations, I'm sure that's a whole toll for that family to take in too. Trying to wrap their mind around that this could, innocent until proven guilty, but this could be something that he really did. I'm sure that's just, that's the whole version of mental gymnastics that family has to play. But they're very serious on the Anthony side and very, verbally, audibly emotional on the Metcalf side. Not to the point where the judge has to, admonish anybody, but you could definitely hear some sniffles and stuff or things like that go down.
Absolutely. And it's a self-defense case. So in a self-defense case, by definition, if you are a defendant, you are claiming that you are a victim. So
Went off break again.
Three minutes. Court will
They're
start.
back on break.
Yeah, 3 minutes. Court. Oh, they started early?
No, they were speaking to
that was
outside the courtroom.
that's Cody from Court TV.
Yeah, we ain't been listening to Court TV because they biased.
They biased as fuck.
Oh,
we've been going with
should have listened
NBC.
yesterday. They had a good segment yesterday.
We
didn't even try to listen to them yesterday because the days prior to that, they were extremely biased. They were very descriptive and detailed when it came to the prosecution, but once the defense got up, they weren't really as detailed, or like they weren't really reporting the details.
Just sharing the defense's cross.
Right.
Exactly.
We're just only the prosecutor.
Yo, guys, y'all got to keep engaging, man. You got to keep tapping the screen, please, man. We want the page kind of like we got a lot of people in the room. Just keep tapping the screen, sharing the live out, and we appreciate the support. TikTok friendly language, guys. Let's protect the page. Thank you.
But yeah, so hey, Diamond, how you doing, Diamond?
Oh, I ain't see you, Diamond. My bad.
Hey,
sis.
everybody. I'm just
Hey,
sticking my
got Big
head
Mac
in.
up there too. Who gonna do the reading of the proceedings today? Who we gonna have? Big Mac, you gonna do it?
I got my I got my iPad charged up today for I'm gonna do CPS still.
Okay, and Diamond, you wanna do it, or Mac, you wanna do it? What we doing?
Well, let's see where Mac is at because he's been doing a good job. I want to give him a chance because he's definitely been doing a good job. If he don't get here on time, then we just bring somebody else in. But everybody's been doing a good job. I don't want to single nobody out. Kiki, all of them. It's just a team effort.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Yesterday I was out. I was outside, so I couldn't really.
I had to try.
No, all you guys did a good job, man. It's a conjunction. Like Star said yesterday, she appreciate all of y'all. That's Key, that's Diamond, that's us, that's who they give the information to. Because, guys, we just as important. We got our brethren down there, but we just as important in giving the information out the way we receive it. So you guys do an amazing job, and we don't appreciate you guys enough either because it's a team effort. Again, it's GHOOD in Texas, it's GHOOD up here, and we get that to the people. So if nobody else told you guys, it's a great job y'all do, and everybody can't do it. So thanks.
Let's tap the live, y'all. Keep tap the live, y'all. Hey, let's hit that share button. Repost, share, and let's just keep tapping, y'all. Let's keep it engaged. Like you don't have to send a lot of flowers, and you don't gotta send a lot of big gifts. Just send some flowers.
Don't say the GIFTS. Don't say that.
Oh, well, just send some flowers. If you want to donate some flowers, y'all, but we can keep engaged. Because yesterday they was dropping people left and right, and then they started muting people. Like people couldn't hear us and stuff because we was coming up with.
And y'all so was on that For You page.
Right. So we just want to make sure we stay there for everybody can get the right information. And thank y'all so much for coming in this morning. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, we can just say that instead of saying a GIFTS, just say we can get people their flowers. They know what that means. If they want to support the live, y'all can go ahead and get people their flowers and, show love to the host, the panelists that you.
And let me put that Cash App out right quick, man, so you guys know that it's the money sign GHOOD News. That's money sign GHOOD News on Cash App. And we've been getting a lot of engagement. We appreciate it. Nick Nack and them spoke on it yesterday. It's the little things that count. And it's a joint effort DJ Cree came up with, just a Cash App so we can help. So we know it's hot in Texas. We know they need water. We know everybody could use a meal. Everybody need toiletries. And it's the same thing we would do for you. If you were part of what we do and you were part of this movement, we do the same for you. So if you can, we urge you. That's the money sign Cash App. The money sign, GHOOD News on Cash App. And we appreciate all the help. Thanks for that, Keith.
Yeah, and just know the ones that give, right? We have the ones that then gave to us, right? So when we get this merch coming, you will get your shirt, your hat, whatever you prefer. We're going to have it to you, okay?
Yeah, that merch is on the way, man, especially for our biggest supporters. And I think Louisiana hit it on the head. We got the GHOOD merch. You guys been asking for it. I'm spoken from the hats to the scarves to the shirts, so you can rep what you really represent. And those of us that we gonna remember you, those that looked out and made sure that we were good down in Texas, you first online for the merch. So we appreciate that too. I was thinking today, Kiki, I was thinking today based on the closing arguments. And I wanted to ask you, Key, what did you, like, you saw the whole, well, we saw the limited witnesses, the limited examinations. Who would you want, like, in your closing argument? I think you saw a little bit of Shook. You saw a little bit of Mike Howard. You heard Nick Nack say he was goofy, although he could come alive at any time. At this point today, Key, who do you want to close this case for you?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm torn. I really don't know. Like I hear y'all legal perspectives and stuff like that, but I'm still not comfortable. So it's neither one of them motherfuckers, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Nino, you need one, babe, just one. Like, who would you want here this morning? Close this thing up for you. You saw a little bit of Shook on cross-examination. I thought he showed a lot. And then you saw Mike Howard, more testy, more detailed, but yet not as animated and as folksy. So who do you trust this morning, Nino? She's not there. Louisiana, I'm going to ask you the same question. You've been very much on top of this case. You seen Toby? You seen Mike Howard? Who do you want to close this thing up for you?
I'm going to say Shook, because, ex-prosecutor is known good for closing. So I would want the prosecutor.
I agree. I agree.
To do it.
I agree. Chi-Chi, where you at, Chi-Chi? You've been very engaged in this. So who do you see as your closer? Did you see enough out of Shook to say, go ahead up here? Or do you go with Mike Howard because he's the lead?
I would go with Shook or any female on their team. I would actually use a female voice, female demeanor, but with the characteristics of Shook.
But you haven't seen a female, Chi-Chi. So why would you trust somebody that you haven't seen?
I'm saying if they have a female on their team, if of their counsel sitting at defense, if one of them is a female, even if she hasn't got up and spoken, if she has the character of a Shook, I think that a female voice and demeanor will work over more easily with the jury. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Diamond. You've been watching the case, Diamond. Like, who do you trust this morning? Like, who do you want in front of that jury closing this thing up? She's not there. Let me see. Let me go to Chucker. Yo, Chucker, you still there, Chucker?
Man, I'm doing my own damn closing arguments.
Shut up. Nah, for real, Chucker.
Serious.
One of the two. But I'm just saying, one of the two.
Neither one of them really stood out for me. But
you got to choose one of the two, Chucker.
Nah, I ain't got to choose neither one of them. I mean, you would want to go with the prosecutor, right? Because they do have inspirational closing arguments to try to get a verdict, right? But at the same time, neither one of them really got that boisterous, look at me, I'm right here in front of you type of
demeanor
on now. Like it's just not.
The demeanor's not there, definitely.
Yeah, it's not
the thing is though, TZ and Trucker, who was the lead attorney though over the case? That's what Mike Howard got to do. Okay.
I mean, you can't tell Mike Howard was because Toby Shook the one that struck
exactly. The most
points.
That's what I was saying.
I mean, when you look at the whole thing, Shook did the most influential things to help Carmelo out.
He did the heaviest lifting. Shook. He picked the jury, and he did the cross. That's the heavy lifting.
Yeah, like Toby Shook is the reason why EP got so. That's why his shoes still tied when he went to bed this morning.
And Toby Shook. And Toby Shook, Louisiana, was the one who did. Thank you, Stiz. Was the one who did reenactment. Thank you. Walk me through that. Thank you. Like we said, gotta walk.
But neither one of them, Stizzy, is like a Johnny Cochran. Or Dennis Brown, or you know what I'm saying? Like none of them have the wow factor. They
don't got that it factor. Right.
And Mike Howard, he's only business. He is like he don't go home and have fun. It's
it's straight by the book.
Home and
straight by the book.
Takes his clothes off, hangs them up, dry cleans them for the next day, and eats ramen noodle packet, and then goes to bed. Like
Squidward.
Yeah, he's Squidward. Yeah, so
Yeah. He don't give you no personality, no philosophical thrust, nothing to get folksy with the jury, nothing to have the jury feel like, hey, we know this guy after a couple of days, we can trust him. He didn't give you that. Like Tucker said, he didn't reach to the jury in a personality manner. And that's what's needed sometimes when they back there fighting. I like the lawyer. He was a good guy. That counts when the foreman said, well, let's talk about the lawyer's guy. The lawyer was pretty decent. He was folksy. He was down to earth. He made us laugh. And Nick Nack said he didn't have that in his bag. He wasn't a personality, but yet he could come alive today, Trucker. You've seen dudes. You've seen it, Trucker.
Yeah, but nobody talked about Shapiro during the OJ trial. Everybody talked about the man that had the charisma that was kind of like Shaft, right?
Facts.
So when it came to the verdict, nobody even cared about the verdict. All they cared about was Johnny Cochran. That was it. Johnny Cochran. So you don't have one of these attorneys that is a Johnny Cochran, right? They're good attorneys with their accolades, but who's going to be the great attorney? Because to be honest with you, Stizzy, the words that come out of both sides' mouth today could make or break the case. The way you drive your points home and what points you drive home could literally change the minds of some of these jury members depending on how you present it, right? Everybody likes spaghetti, but does your spaghetti come with them big ass meatballs and that garlicky garlic bread with the oblong plate instead of a round
What's up,
one?
Creek? What's up, DJ Creek?
Yo, listen, man. We keep shutting people down to be saying things, right? But I'm actually with Trucker on this shit, bro. If I would go with Carmelo Anthony doing his own fucking closing, bro. I would get him up there, and he would be prepared, so well prepared. He's a law school student already in the making. Man, he get up there and start crying and shit through the whole fucking closing and say, I didn't do this on purpose. I was up there, the boys were surrounding me, and they did this and that. Man, listen, that shit, because we didn't hear him, we didn't hear his side at all throughout this whole case, man. I'm telling you.
But would you put him up there, Creek? Would you put him up there knowing that he don't got no experience publicly speaking?
Hell yeah. Yes. Yep. You know why, Stizzy? Because authenticity of not knowing is better than sometimes being rehearsed. When you did something too many times, they can't ask him
any questions.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
No, they can't.
But I'm speaking to Cree. I'm speaking about the legal aspect of him getting up there. He don't know the law.
He don't need to know the law.
Listen, he don't need to know the law, bro. He know that 4 kids surrounded him. He didn't know which one was gonna hit him. He know he has epilepsy. He could probably try and get that up in there too. You know what I mean? There's a lot that you could do in that closing. Definitely. You know what I mean? That Mike Howard can walk him through. And Mike Howard, the geek, can definitely walk that kid through the closing argument and get him to win over that jury.
How many
First time we heard Carmelo Anthony speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many times, Cree, have you heard, and I know everybody on the panel knows at least somebody, right, where they've been to trial or they're pleading they done pled guilty, right, and then they open up their mouth and the judge completely changes their mind on what they were going to do, and they say, you know what, I was going to do this, but now I'm going to do this because I think I hear this, that, and the third. Authenticity is always better than rehearsement, right? So if somebody gets up there and they don't know what to say, but they say whatever comes from their heart, right? Sometimes that's a hell of a lot more powerful than just somebody writing something down and then reading what's on a piece of paper. And I think that's why I didn't do it when I went to trial when I was a teenager. But now that I'm old enough, there's no way that if I ever had to go to trial that I wouldn't want to be involved in my own trial, especially being able to speak up on my behalf, because nobody's going to fight for you
and
like you're going to fight for yourself.
And a murder case?
I wouldn't care what it was.
Shit.
And then with the
murder case, I don't get to talk. I got to leave this in your hands.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But with the closing, though, Trucker, he can't be cross.
Oh yeah,
that's the big thing. He can't be cross, and so he can get everything out he want to get out. And I agree with you and Creed on that.
Yeah, they can rebuttal. They cannot cross you in a closing. Banana Republic down there. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not. This is a closing, bro. Both sides get ample opportunity to sit there and close and take his. I don't know how long the judge will give them, but they'll give them a time limit on how long the closing's going to be. They get the ample opportunity to get up there and do their closing. And then the defense gets a chance to go up there and do their closing. And then the prosecution comes back with a rebuttal if they feel they need to. That's how it works, bro. I don't know what court you ever been in or seen or whatever, but that's how it usually works in court, bro.
Yeah, they could be one of their plays, though. They could get 10 minutes to Carmelo to get up there and, and talk and how he feels. They could do that now.
Right.
I'm not going to take that out the window. And then Mike Howard will follow back up or Toby follow back up behind him. That would be a good strategy. That would be a good strategy for you.
Yeah, that's the way you get it in there without him having to get crossed.
2 hours.
Okay, yeah. I knew the time limit.
1 hour for misdemeanor.
Yeah, that's an hour apiece, you.
Yeah, I knew it was
No, it's 2 hours.
2 hours apiece.
That's crazy.
2 hours apiece.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They might share
bro.
that one, Creek. They might share it.
This is murder, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Shit, I need everything. I need, man, look.
You right? You definitely need it all.
Every attorney can't be wrong, bro. Every attorney that I sat here and watched on YouTube and stuff like that about this, they all can't be wrong. They all said the same thing. Carmelo needs to take the stand in this case. He needs to take the stand. I don't agree with him. I don't feel like he needs to take a stand. But at this point, man, I think he would be great for his own closing. Trucker is absolutely right on that. I agree with him on that shit.
Do we have any updates, y'all?
This whole case has been unorthodox, yo.
No, there's no.
Who do we have in the courtroom today? Who's in the courtroom today?
Nick Knack.
Okay.
The whole case has been unorthodox, man. We seen shit that we ain't never seen before, and some shit that we like, yo, I can't believe they letting this go. You know what I mean? So like, it would be unorthodox for Carmelo to do it, but I think he's smart enough. I think he could handle it, bro. I really do, and I would rather fucking see him do it. Shit. At this point, let him speak for his damn self. Because Mike Howard, I don't know, man. Or Mike Howard might be a closer, bro. He might be a closer. Because I don't know, other than that, I don't know why he gets paid the big bucks.
I don't know, though, Creed. When he opened up, though, when he opened up, yeah, but when he opened it up, though, Creed, that first open, man, he hit the nail right on the coffin, bro, with that first open, right? Because he was laying the ground for his case, and he did. And he put the disparity of force in there, that it was multiple people. Man, he did a lot, man, right there on the opening. So it could be a good closer.
He might be a Mariano, Creed. He might be. Like you said, he might be Mariano Rivera. He might be. We're going to find out. He better be.
He might be a strategist, bro. Right. He's playing checkers and we playing chess.
Hopefully.
I mean, he playing chess and we playing checkers.
He playing chess. We gonna find out. And maybe that's what he doing. Maybe he is rocking us to sleep, like you said. Maybe he saved his best for last. And that's what we hope.
Yeah. I hope so, man. We'll find out. Yeah, I do too.
Update?
I do too, man. I've been listening to see y'all rock out.
There's no update yet. There's no update.
I've been listening to see y'all rock out, yelling at each other and cuss each other out, and then come back and be friends again. And
I'm still gonna cuss D1 ass out once the verdict's and cuss his ass out again.
I just feel like I have a good feeling.
And I might include Stizzy just for GP, just since he's a common non-denominator.
I went to sleep late and I woke up early, and I was super exhausted coming on this live this morning. But when I woke up, I was excited, though, because I'm like, yo, today's going to be a good day. I just had that feeling. It's going to be a good day, man.
Good energy. Good energy.
I think we're going to have good news today, y'all. I really do.
You know, I talked to an op today that y'all all know. I talked to an op this morning on the phone. And I said to this op, I'm talking about a natural-born Austin supporter. And I said to the op what I had said about EP earlier, right? And the op's response was, dang, trucker, you're absolutely right. I didn't look at it like that. Dang, what happened to everybody?
They
What the
getting
hell? I
dropped.
can't hear nobody no more.
They getting dropped. Chuck, can y'all hear me?
Nah, yeah, we hear you,
Yeah.
Cree. It's starting to do it again. We
Yo,
gotta
we
be
gotta tap the
engaged, y'all.
screen.
We gotta be
Gotta tap
Hold
the
them just
engaged.
now. We got to engage, man.
I done had my tapper on for over an hour.
Thank you, Chi. Yeah, let's tap and tap, guys. Come on. We
Gotta
know
tap
we
the
get
screen.
I knew something was wrong because it went mute while Louisiana was talking. I didn't hear nothing, and then all of a sudden I just dropped.
Or yeah, we gotta tap the screen. We gotta stay engaged. When they get to certain numbers, they start playing with your life. It's corny.
Shout out to the boy Cree.